Hola a todos, welcome to the third episode of Super Sociedad. Of course, today's episode is focused around our game at the Santiago Bernabéu as we face Real Madrid. Before that, we've got to go through our fixtures up until this game, of course, following the last game against Sevilla. We're going to have a little chat about how the team has been performing across these opening games of our La Liga season, and also a minor transfer update as a few more players have come into the club. Let's begin with the fixtures. Of course, the game against Sevilla was our last episode. We then beat Granada by 4-1 at the Anoeta. A hat-trick from Willian Jose inside 6 minutes pretty much secured the win for us at home. They did get back into the game with one goal as Alvaro Vadio scored after half-time. That was due to pretty much, I had to take Monreal off because he got injured. Llorente was swapped to left-back. Robin Lenormand came on and they got the goal. And to be fair, it was a decent little run from Vadio. But Alexander Isak scored in the 84th minute to restore our 3-goal lead. That's an insanely quick hat-trick from Willian Jose. It was absolutely incredible from him. Really great striker's instincts. We then beat Real via the lead by 2-0, a brace from Alexander Isak in our away fixture. It could have been a much better result. Mikel Oyarzabal did not have a good game. He missed a penalty and also fluffed a couple of good opportunities. So, you know, it could have been a better result. It was a decent performance. This started a trend of us absolutely battering our opposition in terms of shots. And that was ultimately shown a bit further in our game at the Anoeta as we beat Getafe by a 1-0. Martin Odegaard in the 84th minute with the goal, coming on as a substitute, capitalising on a very, very good pattern of play. In this game, we managed 16 shots and 3 on target. One being clear cut, that being Odegaard's goal, whereas Getafe managed 3 shots, 0 on target. A brilliant defensive display, not good in the attacking sense. And the final game before our game against Real Madrid was at home again against Osasuna in a, I'm not going to say a miniature Basque derby, because obviously the main derby we have is against Athletic Bilbao, the Vasco derby, but Osasuna are another Basque side. And, you know, it was a pretty decent result, to be honest. We had a couple of good performances. Ezequiel Palacios, that performance got him into the Team of the Week, which was quite good performance from him. But we managed 31 shots in this game, 10 on target. Shocking conversion rate, to be perfectly honest. And then this has started a trend that we are able to create brilliant opportunities, but we're not able to find that clinical touch to score more regular goals. Hopefully, that'll just come with more games played as the players obviously adapt more to the style of play that I'm trying to implement here in San Sebastian. Now, I want to quickly talk about La Liga because you might have seen a glimpse in the on the home screen. We and Barcelona are the only two sides left in the league that have a 100% record. We are the only two teams that have not dropped any kind of points, because Alaves, Villarreal and Sevilla, the other teams that make up the top 5, have all lost at least one game. Barca lead us by goal difference because we're considered one goal. But, I mean, some very good individual performances you can see here. Alexander Isak and Willian Jose both scoring 4 goals each. Isak is the highest performing player thus far, higher than Leo Messi, which is a bit impressive from him. And Odegaard with 3 assists. So, you know, we're performing well in a couple of key areas. It's just whether we can continue this. Actually, interestingly, Real Madrid, of course, our opponents today, sit 10th, a point behind their local rivals, Atletico. They've lost 2 of their games, those being to their local rivals, their 2 greatest rivals, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. So they've probably had a bit of a mixed season thus far. They're not massively happy, I'm going to guess. with the performance. Before we get into the fixture, I want to quickly go over the 2 transfers we've made. So first, Jamie Yaya Umpai has come in from Sampdoria for £800,000 with a couple of clauses. It's pretty much the exact same deal that brought Nicolo Armini into the club. Obviously, the only difference is all the money will go to Sampdoria instead of Lazio. This was another similar situation with Armini. Mainly, I wanted to send them out on a scouting trip to see who they could find, because I'm not entirely convinced with the young strikers here and at Sociedad. Obviously, Isak is our number 2. Now, whether we look to maybe transform someone else into a striker is maybe a different question. Perhaps Roberto Lopez, he's got a couple of attributes that would lend him well to being a striker, but I'd much rather pay a portion of money to bring in someone who is a natural striker and has also had a decent bit of versatility. You can see he can play on either wing. Fairly consistent, quite a number of 11s in his attributes, decent number of 12s as well, 13s dotted around there, and nice 16 determination. That's always the stat I like, is nice high determination. Positioning at 3 is a bit shocking. Hopefully that will be improved via his training. So he was the first. The second was Rodrigo Marcos, brought in for a measly £140,000 from Leonessa. Now, this kid looks incredibly impressive. Now, if I remember rightly, he had a £1.3 million release clause. For some reason, Leonessa agreed to sell him to me. Bit bizarre, but I'll absolutely snap their hand off for that. And this kid looks incredibly impressive. 16 years old, 6'4", decent amount of pace on him for a player of that height. Really nice attributes when it comes to his anticipation, decisions and positioning at this young age. Heading and marking also very nice, as you'd expect, quite good jumping reach and marking for a player who's 6'4", and tackling at 12. Not as high as I want it, but 16 years old, loads of room to grow. Could be brilliant for us. And I said £140,000. Also, I must say, this move was it was motivated by the fact that, of course, the other 3 signings we've made have all been non-Spanish based players. Of course, that was part of our vision, is the club would prefer if we sign players based in Spain, and would also prefer if we sign Basque players. Basque players are going to be a bit difficult, obviously. There's only a couple of Basque clubs, so we'd need to kind of jump on some of their players who maybe a contract running down or got decent release clauses. I'm more confident of getting players in from Spain. I mean, if we can get players in from Spain for low money like Rodrigo Marcos, I will jump on that, because this kid looks incredibly impressive. Enough chatting though, we'll see more of them in the future episodes, I hope. So the lineup we're going to go with is Moy in goals, Aldua, Elizondo, Loriente and Monreal in the defence. I see Erramendi with Porto and Merino in the midfield, Adnan Januzaj, Mikel Oyarzabal and Willian Jose up top. Now, Ramiro, Lenormand, Munoz, Zubadia, Pardo, Lopez and Isak will be on the bench. Obviously, Martin Odegaard not eligible to play due to him being on loan from Real Madrid, of course, which means Januzaj gets a chance to start, which he has been for the past 3 games. He's done Odegaard's been very, very impressive. But a good thing about Januzaj is he's dropped his concern. After the last episode, between that and the end of the transfer window, he handed in a further 3 transfer requests. All rejected, so it seems she's just decided, screw it, I'll stay here and see if I can tempt a club to spend £52 million to activate the buyout clause, which is, to be honest, if someone did do that, I'd be quite happy, because then we get £52 million to spend in the transfer market. But, I'm going to keep the same approaches we've been playing this season, and because I've got no real reason to change it. I've chosen Roberto Lopez over Ander Banantia, for example, because I just think that Lopez is slightly better, and also he hasn't played for the under-19s because he's slightly too old, which Barranquilla has most recently. So, and you know, Roberto Lopez actually looks pretty good. He's got a nice bit of pace on him, some nice technical stats, nice 15 long shots, speed, a nice touch of flair, a couple of nice first touch and dribbling attributes there as well. So could be a decent little player for us. I was thinking of sending him out on loan, but I think considering we've also already sent Navarro out on loan, Ike has gone out on loan, Barranquilla is more of obviously our young bright star, but he's playing less games. So lots of chances, hopefully, for Roberto Lopez to get a couple of appearances in La Liga. Enough waffling though, let's get into the fixture. Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabéu, Los Blancos, a side who of course we have a lot of back and forth with in La Liga in the early 80s, but of course a very good side there. At the first of the Spanish traditional top three that we faced this season, the side they're going to go with is Courtois in goal, Carvajal, Varane, Ramos, Marcelo in the defence, Casemiro, Modric, Kroos, Isco, Hazard, Benzema, Areola, Ede Militao, James Rodriguez, Luka Jovic, Federico Valverde, Full-on Mendy and Rodrigo make the bench. 23's gone. I've just got to see this because I'm quite curious. Have they sold Vinicius Junior or has he gone out on loan? Because I don't know why I have in my head that he's got the number. I can't see him. He must have. Where is he? Is he injured? Yeah, he's injured. That's what it was. I was going to say because I can't be registered for the next match either. That's weird. Because I was going to say for some reason I've got in my head that he wears number 23, but apparently not. Anyway, enough mucking around there. Zidane versus me. Can we get a win here? I'm going to give the players an extra bit of support because I think the start of the season's been good, and obviously the Real Madrid are a very good side. But if we can snatch a point at the Bernabéu, I'll be happy. Real very much underperforming so far this season. Obviously, but only lost 2 games. But by their standards, that's quite low. Or too many at least for this season, even if it was against their local rivals and their greatest rivals in Atletico Madrid and Barcelona respectively. So they had a good chance there from the corner kick. Iago Aspas inside 5 minutes to score for Celta Vigo. In the opening, just come up to the 15th minute. This is Moya with a goal kick. Moya to Elizondo. There's a passing combination that has happened a lot so far this season. That's why they're passing out from the fences there. Zaldua brings it down the right hand side, plays it through to Adnan Januzaj. The Belgians sprinting at the Real defence. Januzaj still going. He's been brought down. It's going to be a penalty perhaps. Marcelo's given it away. VAR will decide whether it is a penalty, and it's going to be taken by Willian Jose to get his first goal at the Bernabéu against his former club. Will he score it? Jose steps up. That's a very good penalty. Courtois, has to be said, unlucky not to save that, but Willian Jose with his 5th goal of the season. That's a very, very nice bit of technique from the Brazilian. So this is it from the replay. Oh, Courtois got to feel hard done by there. Gets a hand to it, but there's a very good run from Adnan Januzaj. I would prefer if we score from open play, but you know, a penalty is a goal nevertheless. I don't really care how they come. It's a ball in the box. Elizondo heads away. Modric. Oh, very good chance for Luka Modric to equalise for Los Blancos. I think I'm just looking at the underlying metrics. So, and the pass completion is where I want it to be. Tackles where I want it to be. Headers definitely not, only 38%. But oh god, they started to drop as soon as I mentioned them. Oh dear. So we're approaching half time. That chance from Modric really the best Real have had. Half time we lead by a goal to 0. The penalty from Willian Jose. The difference between the two sides. His first goal at the Bernabéu against his former club. I'm trying. I think we're capable of better, Because, I mean, to only be leading through a penalty, obviously it has to be taken into consideration it is Real Madrid. You know, they won the Champions League in 2017-18, and, you know, they've won the Champions League 3 times on the bounce. So, it's a difficult situation because considering the standards that we started the season at, this isn't a good performance. But we must bear in mind, obviously, the opposition we're up against. In fact, before we start the second half, I've had an idea. I think if drop Monreal to a defensive fullback, and then have Zaldua the one supporting Januzaj, perhaps do I change up the roles slightly? Maybe now, you know, I'll try it. Mikel Merino can go to an advanced playmaker and defensive, deep line playmaker even, can be Porto, because neither of them has been particularly fantastic, so perhaps allowing Mikel Merino to be a bit more expressive might hopefully prove a bit positive for us. So they've gone out wide to Eden Hazard. They'll do with a wonderful challenge to neither Belgian getting any further than that. Throwing for Real, it's going to be Eden Hazard is going to take Marcelo. I say it's going to take it. Hazard brings the ball forward. He's going to whip the ball. Really good block by Zaldua. Again, it's gone out for a goal kick. Must take look like it took a deflection off Zaldua, but I'll take a goal kick quite frankly. So demand more. I think again, I keep having to remind myself the opposition we're up against is Real Madrid. You know, they're such a good team. They've got such quality in all areas as they bring the ball forward. Isco, Carvajal. Dani Carvajal is going to whip the ball in the box. Another good block by Nacho Monreal. It's back with Isco. Whips the ball in. Benzema. Moya, good save. Really well done by Moya. And they're going to have a corner kick that comes to nothing. We're racing through this pretty quickly considering we're on... Are we on extended? Yeah, we're on extended highlights. So that proves how little has happened thus far. Goal kick, Moya, back to Elizondo, and once again, Elizondo to Loriente Rios, to Monreal even, Marino, Loriente Rios, Oyarzabal, headed on but falls into the path of Dani Carvajal, now Cruz, to Modric, ball over the top, Eden Hazard has got the beating of Zaldua, unless he can make a last ditch. That was a terrible shot by Eden Hazard. You think for all that money he could be better at shooting. Something I forgot to mention that you probably knew already is, of course, 3 former Real Madrid players here. Of course, I've mentioned Willian Jose, but obviously Aïssa Eramendi with around £30 million to the Bernabéu, and obviously Diego Loriente. So throwing, Marcelo gets to Hazard, back to Marcelo. Now the Brazilian's got a chance to maybe whip it in the box. Does. Loriente heads away, only as far as Modric. Casemiro to Ede Militao, who's got so much space. Oyarzabal off Monreal, off Monreal's clearance, half clearance anyway. Modric's got another chance to whip it in for Los Blancos. Puts it back to Casemiro. Casemiro to Ede Militao. Militao now to Casemiro. They're just trying to work it in the box. Eden Hazard can just about keep it in. He does well, but it's given away. Zaldua's done really well to come away with the ball there. Once again, just nothing from Mikel Oyarzabal. He just can't seem to find some form. It's irritating, of course, because he's meant to be our best player, but he just hasn't found any consistency. Like, he got 1 assist in 1 game, and just I think I might need to experiment with, you know, different roles for him to play, because the system I'm playing, or maybe even try the 4-2-3-1 that I mentioned that I'm thinking of playing. Because I want to get the best out of him, because his attributes suggest he should be exceptional, but he just can't find that you know, that edge, that, you know, to find the final assist. Or maybe he's just not, you know, entirely grown into the system. It could be a number of factors, but I want Oyarzabal to be playing as well as possible, of course. Zaldua gets the ball though on the right hand side, pumps the ball forward to Adnan Januzaj, but it's headed on poorly by Januzaj. Ramos puts it back to Thibaut Courtois. We're at 8 minutes plus stoppage time. Varane, Luka Modric, Casemiro, back to Modric. Ball over the top for Eden Hazard. Now the Belgian, he's beaten Zaldua. Hazard, ball in the box. James Rodriguez, header goes over the bar, and Los Blancos really need to find a bit of quality. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good day for them. This could turn up to be an absolute stinker of a game. Casemiro gets the ball from James Rodriguez. Luka Modric to Eder Militao. Militao, the Brazilian, whips the ball in the box. Hazard reaches it. Oh, that's just wide from the 120-odd million pound man. Obviously arrived from Chelsea in the summer. Full on Mendy. Big throw in. Elizondo intercepts. Now puts the ball through for Willian Jose. He's got the runs of Januzaj and Porto off him. Januzaj, that's a terrible shot from Adnan Januzaj. There's a reason I think in the last game I told him not to shoot a lot because he just can't strike a ball properly. So they've got a throw in here in the dying embers. Unless they can get something here, it's going to be a third defeat for Real Madrid. Hazard, it's gone wide. And that's going to be a goal kick, and we may be about to walk away here with a awful 3 points. We have Real Sociedad 1, Real Madrid 0. A penalty in the 13th minute from the former Real Madrid man, William Jose, the difference. Obviously, I mentioned it earlier, we did much better with our tackles won, passing in the 80%, but still not good enough. I want kind of mid to high 80s preferably. Headers one also not good, but to be honest, I wasn't expecting to win that or that, to be perfectly honest, because obviously Real Madrid are a very dominant side. Eibar lost, of course, another one of our Basque neighbours, and Osasuna came back to draw 1-1. But to be honest, that was a bit anticlimactic, the amount I was building that game up. I mean, I'm not going to say it was special. I mean, I'll say congratulations. I mean, we didn't perform magnificently well. I mean, it shows how poor of a game it was when Luka Modric with a 7.5 is the man of the match. But it's 3 points. We've kept up with Barcelona. We've gone top. They've still got a game to play, though. I mean, that's definitely the way I want to keep going, is trending up and keep winning these games. I think the only game we can come back for next week is against Athletic Bilbao, the Vasco derby, at the second game in December. Games against Leganes, Villarreal, Atletico Madrid, Valencia, Eibar, Espanyol, Celta Vigo and Levante and Betis to come in between that. So lots of games to get through. But yes, the Vasco derby will be the next game we play. I hope you guys have enjoyed this third episode of Super Sociedad. I said a very anticlimactic game there. That's our third 1-0 win on the bounce, but I'm not complaining. It's 3 points against a very, very good Real Madrid side. Our 100% run continues. Let's see if by the time we come back next week, we'll have continued it. That's all to be seen next week. Sam for the What We Know signing out. All that's left to say, guys, is Somos la Sociedad.